Hi everybody, so today I want to show you how to design the perfect shaker cake topper. In the next video we will make the topper that we designed today. So I think once you have the basics down of the design, the rest is very easy. I've done quite a few shaker cake toppers and this is the basic setup that always works for me. So I'm going to show you how to do it today. So the first thing we're going to do is start with some basic shapes. I guess you could do a square one if you wanted to, or a triangle. I'm going to be doing a circle because that's what I've always done. It works for me. So the ones that I do are usually between 15 and 18 centimeters. So I think for today I'm going to do 17 centimeters. So for all of my toppers, I make sure that I have two back pieces, and what I'm going to do is this back piece is going to be the one that faces forward. In between that I'm going to have a cake stick, and this is going to be the one that hides the cake stick at the back. So I think I'm going to do blue for these. Okay, so I've got those. So then what you're going to have to do is we're going to duplicate this, and we're just going to see sort of where we want our rings to be. So with your rings, you don't want them to be all the way to the outside. You want there to be a little bit of space between the outside of your main topper and the actual spacer rings. So that's what I call them, the spacer rings. So we're going to duplicate this. And your spacer rings don't need to be very big. So let's see. Our initial one is 17. We're going to make this one 16. And we're going to make this one 15. That should be good. Let's make it 14.5. Okay, let's align center horizontally and center vertically, and we're going to slice that. Okay, so let's change the color of our spacer rings. So remember, each element you want to be a different color. Then we're going to duplicate that 3 times. Okay. So what I make my spacer rings out of is EVA foam, and I've found that 3 layers works perfectly. Okay, the next thing you're going to need is your acetate. So your acetate, you actually, let's duplicate this and let's align these two. And we're actually going to weld that. So your acetate, you want it to cover your spacer rings, and you want it to basically go to the edge, and you obviously want it to be in the middle. So your acetate is going to be a clear sheet across. And then the next thing you're going to need is, so let's duplicate this. The next thing you're going to need is something to hide all of this. So you're going to need a frame for that. So let's change the color. I'm going to do a glitter frame. And what you're going to do here is you're going to add an offset. Let's try that. Okay, and then we can get rid of the glitter, well, the original one we had. Okay. We're going to align center horizontally, align center vertically, and that looks good. So now you've got the base of your topper. You've got your frame, you've got your acetate, you've got your 3 spacer rings, and then you've got your back and front of your topper. So let's just align all of this. And then what I like to do is just move this back because you don't want to see the acetate. We'll get rid of that. Now we can start decorating it. So for this one, I'm actually making it for my daughter's birthday. It's only in July, but we're getting a bit of a head start. So you can choose any font you want. For this one, I think I want something a little bit bold. So you got to think about what you want your topper to look like. If you use a very thin font, you're going to have to stick it onto your second layer, and then you can make it 3D between your second and your third layer. So again, you don't have to work on 3 layers. It's just what I prefer to do. I always work on 3 layers. Let's give it an offset. So what you've got to think about as well, if your top layer is not connected, you're going to have to stick each one individually. It doesn't really make a difference in the bigger scheme of things. But what you do want is for your second layer to not have spaces. You want it to hide your double-sided tape as much as possible. So let's make this 4. That works well. And then I'm going to add another offset. I haven't really thought about what colors. I guess blue, yellow, white, or blue, white, yellow. I don't know about yellow. Let's make it, let's make it glitter. So we'll match it to the one that we're going to do glitter. I don't know if I like this font though. Let's group these. So what we're going to do as well is we're actually going to contour this one, and we're going to get rid of our tiny little spots in it to make it more solid. Maybe we should make the name glitter. So we'll make this one dark and make this one light. That's better. Okay, so for the image, so I'm going to be doing print and cut for this one. So I've already got my website open. It's called remove.bg. I'm going to upload. And this is something that my daughter likes, which is furries. So we're going to download that. I could have just used the background remover when I uploaded it, but I found that this gives a cleaner edge. We're just going to say complex, apply and continue, and we're going to upload that. So we're going to send this backwards. Oopsie, undo. We don't want it all the way to the back. We're going to say send backwards. So we're going to send it backwards again so that, oopsie, so that it's behind that. Okay, now she said she wanted something with paw prints. So we're going to look in our images and we're going to find some paw prints. So I really like this because it keeps it kind of girly. I do want to change this black though. Let's see if white will look good. It really doesn't. I think it would have to stay black, but it doesn't really go with with what we're doing. I really like that though. That's super cute. Okay, so I actually want to add an offset to this to make it more 3D. Let's do it here so we can see. What did we use? We used 0.45 for the name. That's way too big though for that. So I think you've just got to have an idea of what you're wanting to do and play with your offsets according to that. As you can see, I've used 2 different offsets so far. So you just got to find one that works for what you're trying to do. So now we got to decide on the color that we want to do. I think I like that. Let's see. So this is a lot of small pieces if you look at the paws, but what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to, and then we're going to do one more offset, and I'm going to show you what we're going to do with that. So what I'm going to actually do is I'm going to use the Smart Sticker cardstock, and I'm going to make my life a lot easier with that. So let's add another offset. Okay, now this or these bottom offsets, oopsie, not that one, that one, that one, and that one, I'm actually going to weld that onto my frame. So there is my frame, and I'm going to combine weld. And then I'm going to send this, well, let's just drag it to the bottom. Oopsie, I think we want it under that, we want it over that. I think that looks so cool. Okay, so now let's move it over a bit so that we can deal with the other side. Now we're going to add her age. And let's try to keep to the offset that we previously did. And let's offset it again. Oopsie. And we want the colors to sort of be the same. So I do feel like this is a lot of glitter. Let's group these. And I really don't like this font. I don't know if you can hear that, but it's super windy at the moment. Let's close these. Let's copy this and let's paste it. And what we're going to do is we're going to flip it. Make it smaller so that there's space for our 13. And then we're going to have to offset that again. I can't remember what we used. 0.2 I think it was. So you can see what I'm doing as I'm going along. I'm creating a base for the elements that we add onto it, so that whatever we add onto it isn't just like floating around in space. I'm adding enough layers so that I can have a 3D effect, and I'm also thinking about the base and how the base is going to hold all of our elements together. So for that offset that we've just created, we're going to weld that onto, oopsie, we're going to weld it onto there. I think I hope I selected the right stuff. Yeah. And again, we're going to drag this backwards. Okay. So I'm going to change, I'm going to change the font. I don't particularly like it. Oopsie, let's undo that. And let's ungroup this. And we're going to delete that, and we're going to delete that. So it is a lot of trial and error, design, delete, just to kind of figure out where you want to go with it, what you want it to look like. Oh, that is cute. So what I'm thinking is doing something a bit different, having her name on the top and having her age at the bottom. Let's change. I kind of like this one that we've chosen. What is this? This is girl code. I kind of like that. So we'll use our curve tool, curve this out a bit. Okay, let's offset it and see if we're happy. Oopsie. So my problem with this is that everything is so far apart. I'm going to have to add a huge offset for this to look good. So I'm not going to use this font. So the basic idea with your offset, you want your offset to be connected. You want your offset to offer a solid base so that you can add double-sided tape underneath without it showing through anywhere. You also don't want to be working with 5 individual pieces for 3 different layers. It's going to become a lot of hard work, and it's just not worth it, to be honest. So I have used a very curly thin font. It does work. I actually used a paintbrush and the Craft Buddies Tombow glue, and I just stuck it that way and it worked perfectly. I had absolutely no issues with it whatsoever. So you can use a thin flowy font. Again, you need to make sure that your offset is all together. It's thick enough to add your double-sided tape underneath. I think that's the most important thing, is just understanding. And I think once you've made a cake topper for the first time, it'll be easy after that. When you make it for the first time, you're going to make some errors and you're going to realize, okay, maybe I should have done, this different, or I should have done this different. So the most important things is obviously offering a solid base to all of your elements, and then also making sure that everything is sort of solid, if that makes sense. So let's change our letter spacing here. Yeah, we got to increase that. I mean, I kind of like this, actually. Okay, let's add our offset and see where we are with it. Okay, as you can see, I still have spaces here. So what I'm actually going to do, because I really do like this font, is I'm going to ungroup this. So now all of my letters are going to be individuals. I'm going to move this across, move that across, and I'm going to move that across. I kind of really like this. Okay, now we've got to group it again. And then we can add our offset. Let's do 0.3. And we can add another offset. Oopsie, undo. Okay, let's make sure our colors are correct. Let's actually make her name Pink. Let's add some girliness in here. Okay, let's group these so we can move them. Okay, what we're going to do is we're going to actually contour our white layer and get rid of all of these gaps. Again, you want it to be as easy as possible to work with. And then we're going to add our offsets at the bottom. And we're going to offset that again. So I kind of like going with the pinks for the name and the number. I think it adds a bit of girliness that the design needs. This one we have the wrong blue. And we have the right one. And then let's group this and group this. There we are. I think we are ready to go. So one thing you could do is, if you wanted to, on the back of the design, if you wanted everything to sort of look the same, you could duplicate all of this. So you could just take it like this, say duplicate. And then what you could actually do is just combine and weld all of that. And what you now have is a solid backing for this. So I don't think it's necessary now. I mean, I guess we could do it. So what this would do is, if you look all the way over here, we had our duplicated circle for the back. You could delete that, and this could be your backing. And we would say send to back. And that way, when you look at your cake topper from the back, it's going to hide all of these elements, all the back pieces of these elements. So the back of your cake topper is going to be a solid blue or pink or whatever color it is that your cake topper is. So I think I've shown you all of the basics. I'm not sure if there's anything else I can show you in terms of the cake topper. I do just want to contour this. Again, you want a nice solid backing for each of your layers. That looks really cute. I might even make this white, like a glitter white, just to add a bit more. I don't know, I feel like I'm adding so much glitter here, so much. But I think this is going to be really awesome. So I'm going to save this, and we are going to make this together in my next video. And hopefully then you'll understand a lot more of what I've tried to tell you with regards to the solid backing and making sure that you have a good foundation for your 3D elements that you want to add onto it. So join me in my next video. I actually can't wait to make this, and I can't wait to show you, and I really hope this is going to help you make the perfect shaker cake toppers. Thanks so much for watching.